Karachi in winter was a different world. The air was thick, heavy with a chill that crept through the narrow streets. The sun set early, casting long shadows over the crumbling buildings. The city felt alive, but in a way that was unsettling. The old architecture loomed, its faded paint peeling like decaying skin. It whispered secrets of the past, secrets best left buried. In this city, a young man named Amir wandered. He had lived in Karachi all his life, but this winter felt different. He felt drawn to the waterfront, a place where the sea met the city. The waves crashed against the rocks, the sound echoing like a distant lament. He often walked there alone, lost in thought. But this winter, he felt an unusual pull. Something was waiting for him. One evening, Amir stood at the edge of the water. The sky was a deep grey, heavy with clouds. The wind howled, making the air feel colder. He shivered, but stayed. That's when he saw her. A figure stood on the shore, her silhouette stark against the darkening sky. She was beautiful, with long hair that danced in the wind. Amir's heart raced. Who was she? He called out, but she didn't respond. Instead, she turned slightly, just enough for him to see her face. Her eyes were dark, deep pools that seemed to pull him in. He felt a strange connection, an obsession blooming in his chest. He wanted to know her name. He wanted to understand her. Days turned into weeks. Amir returned to the waterfront every evening, hoping to see her again. The city felt more desolate each time. The streets were empty, the shops closed early. The few people he encountered hurried past him, their faces drawn and weary. But Amir was undeterred. He was consumed by thoughts of her. Then one night, she appeared again. This time she was closer. He could see the details of her dress, flowing and white, like a ghost. She stood at the edge of the water, staring into the waves. Amir approached cautiously. He called her name, though he didn't know it yet. Ayesha, he whispered, feeling the name roll off his tongue. It felt right. She turned to him, a smile breaking across her face. It was hauntingly beautiful. You found me, she said softly. Her voice was like the wind, gentle yet chilling. They talked for hours. Ayesha spoke of dreams and the sea. She spoke of the past, of memories lost to time. Amir listened, entranced. He forgot the world around him. The city faded into the background. He was lost in her words. But with each meeting, Amir felt a growing sense of dread. Ayesha's stories were dark, filled with sorrow. She spoke of shadows that followed her, of a life that was not her own. Amir felt a chill crawl up his spine. He couldn't shake the feeling that she was not entirely real. One night, as they stood at the water's edge, Amir noticed something strange. A shadow loomed behind Ayesha, dark and twisted. It flickered in the corner of his eye, but when he turned to look, it was gone. His heart raced. He wanted to ask her about it, but the words caught in his throat. Ayesha, what follows you? He finally managed to say. She looked at him, her expression unreadable. It's nothing, she replied, but her voice trembled. Just the past. Amir felt a knot form in his stomach. The more he learned about Ayesha, the more he realized he was getting in too deep. The obsession that had once felt beautiful now felt dangerous. He wanted to pull away, but he couldn't. He was trapped. The nights grew darker. The city felt more oppressive. The architecture around him seemed to close in, the buildings leaning closer, as if eavesdropping on his thoughts. The waterfront, once a place of solace, felt like a trap. The waves crashed violently against the rocks, as if warning him to stay away. One evening, Amir walked to the waterfront, his heart pounding. He was anxious, the air thick with tension. As he approached the spot where he usually met Ayesha, he heard a loud splash. He turned, startled, and saw a figure emerge from the water. It was not Ayesha. It was a man, soaked and wild-eyed.
Stay away from her!"
he screamed, pointing a trembling finger at Amir.
"She'll take you!"
Amir froze. The man's eyes were wide with fear.
"She's not real. She's a spirit, a curse."
Before Amir could respond, the man turned and ran, disappearing into the shadows. Amir stood there, heart racing, confusion swirling in his mind. What did he mean? Was Ayesha a curse? The next few nights were filled with nightmares. Amir dreamt of Ayesha, but in his dreams, she was twisted and dark. Her smile was gone, replaced by a haunting expression. Shadows danced around her, whispering secrets he couldn't understand. He woke up in a cold sweat, fear gripping him, yet he still returned to the waterfront. He needed to see her, to understand. But each meeting felt more unsettling. Ayesha's stories grew darker. She spoke of loss, of betrayal, of a life stolen from her. Each word felt like a weight pressing down on Amir's chest. One night, as they stood together, Amir could no longer hold back.
"Ayesha, what are you?"
he asked, desperation creeping into his voice.
"Are you real?"
She paused, her expression shifting. "I am what you want me to be," she replied cryptically. "But I am also what you fear." A shiver ran down Amir's spine. The shadows around her seemed to grow thicker. He felt the world around him tilt, as if he were losing his grip on reality. Then came the final confrontation. Amir stood at the waterfront, the air electric with tension. He felt drawn to Ayesha, but fear gnawed at him. He wanted to break free, but the pull was too strong. Suddenly, Ayesha appeared, but this time she was different. Her hair hung in tangled strands, her dress tattered and dark. The shadows clung to her like a shroud.
"You came,"
she said, but her voice was hollow.
"Ayesha, please,"
Amir begged.
"What are you?"
"I am your obsession," she whispered, her eyes glinting with something dark.
"And I will consume you."
In that moment, Amir realized the truth. Ayesha was not just a beautiful figure. She was a manifestation of his deepest fears and desires. The shadows around her were his own demons, the darkness he had ignored for too long. He took a step back, his heart racing.
"No,"
he shouted, but the words felt weak. The shadows surged forward, wrapping around him. He could feel their cold grip, pulling him into the depths of despair. Amir fought against it, but the weight was too much. He stumbled, falling to his knees. Ayesha loomed over him, her face a mask of sorrow and fury.
"You cannot escape,"
she hissed.
"You are mine."
In that moment, Amir understood. He had been drawn to her, enchanted by her beauty, but she was a reflection of his own obsession. The city around him faded, the sounds of the waves drowned out by his own heartbeat. With one last surge of strength, Amir broke free from the shadows. He stood up, facing Ayesha.
"I refuse to be consumed,"
he shouted, his voice echoing against the dark waters. Ayesha's expression shifted, confusion flickering in her eyes. For a moment, the shadows hesitated. Amir took a step forward, feeling the weight lift. "You are not my nightmare," he declared. "You are just a part of me." The shadows shrieked, retreating into the depths of the sea. Ayesha's face twisted in anger, but Amir stood firm. He felt the chill of the winter air, but it no longer felt suffocating. As the last remnants of darkness faded, Ayesha's form began to dissolve. "You will always remember me," she whispered, her voice a fading echo, and then she was gone. The waterfront was silent, the waves calming. Amir stood alone, the city around him still dark and eerie, but he felt different. He had faced his fears, confronted the shadows. The winter in Karachi would continue, but Amir would not return to the waterfront. He had learned the hard way that some obsessions are best left in the shadows, buried in the depths of the heart.